I sang karaoke last night, so my voice is completely shot. In the opening scene, we are introduced to a billionaire named Richie and his wife, Hunter, who are enjoying a lavish dinner party alongside other affluent individuals. The occasion is a celebration of Richie's recent accomplishments in business, which have brought his company substantial profit and elevated his status even further. His parents, who are present at the gathering, appear to be extremely proud of their son's achievements. After the dinner comes to an end, Richie and Hunter retire to their new, opulent house located in upstate New York. Despite her newfound life of luxury, Hunter, who comes from a working-class background, spends most of her days feeling bored and unfulfilled. To occupy herself, she engages in mundane activities such as cooking, playing mobile games, and sketching. Yet, these distractions fail to alleviate the emotional void she experiences. Hunter feels increasingly isolated, especially because Richie, preoccupied with his work and ambitions, is often distant and emotionally unavailable to her. One evening, during a quiet dinner at home, Hunter attempts to initiate a meaningful conversation with her husband. However, Richie is too absorbed in responding to work-related text messages to pay her any genuine attention. His inattentiveness leaves Hunter feeling invisible and unimportant. A few days after the dinner party, Hunter discovers that she is pregnant. Overwhelmed with a mix of emotions, she decides to share the news with her husband. Richie is overjoyed at the prospect of starting a family and, to celebrate the momentous occasion, the couple arranges to have dinner with Richie's parents. During the celebratory meal, Hunter tries to share a childhood story in hopes of connecting with her in-laws. However, her father-in-law abruptly interrupts her, steering the conversation back to business matters. Feeling disheartened and dismissed, Hunter withdraws into herself. She stares at the glistening ice cubes in her glass, her thoughts growing heavier with each passing moment. In a sudden and impulsive act, she places one of the ice cubes into her mouth and begins biting down on it. This unexpected behavior causes an air of discomfort and awkwardness to descend upon the table, but no one addresses it directly. The next day, Hunter receives an unexpected visit from her mother-in-law, Catherine. Entering Hunter's room, Catherine hands her a gift, a book about postpartum depression, and mentions that it was helpful during her own pregnancy. Underneath her gesture of concern lies a thinly veiled criticism. Catherine also takes the opportunity to comment on Hunter's appearance, subtly suggesting that she would look more beautiful with longer hair, as Richie prefers women with flowing locks. Later that evening, while reading the book, Hunter stumbles upon a passage that strikes a chord within her. Inspired by a fleeting sense of rebellion and a desire to regain some control over her life, she reaches for a small marble from her collection of trinkets and, in a moment of reckless abandon, swallows it whole. To her surprise, this peculiar act brings her an unexpected sense of relief and empowerment, a sensation she had not experienced in a long time. Marbles are the new keto, she muses to herself, finding humor in her secret defiance. When Richie returns home from work, he is surprised to find his wife in an unusually cheerful mood. Curious, he asks about the source of her happiness. Hunter, unwilling to reveal the truth, fabricates a harmless explanation. She tells him that her improved mood stems from making a simple decision to choose blue curtains for one of the rooms. Her evasiveness goes unnoticed, and Richie accepts her explanation without further questioning. The following morning, as Richie prepares for work, a minor incident sparks tension between them. He becomes visibly upset upon discovering that Hunter has accidentally ruined one of his expensive silk ties. Though the moment passes without a major confrontation, the underlying friction between them continues to fester. Later that day, Hunter manages to pass the small marble she had swallowed. With surprising detachment, she retrieves it from the sink, showing no sign of disgust or regret. Her willingness to engage in these strange, secret acts becomes a form of silent rebellion against the oppressive expectations surrounding her new life. Shortly thereafter, Catherine summons Hunter for a private conversation. During their exchange, Catherine inquires about Hunter's previous employment before marrying Richie. Hunter admits that she once worked in retail, specifically selling toiletries. Hearing this, Catherine remarks that Hunter is a very lucky woman to have married someone as successful as Richie. Her words, though framed as a compliment, carry an unmistakable undertone of condescension. Catherine also questions whether Hunter is genuinely happy or merely putting on a facade. With a forced smile, Hunter insists that she is, indeed, happy, though her demeanor suggests otherwise. One day, while cleaning the house, Hunter stumbles upon another tempting object, a thumbtack. Unable to resist the compulsion that has begun to take hold of her, she makes a decision that defies all logic. She swallows it, fully aware of the potential harm but drawn to the strange sense of agency it gives her. Despite her initial hesitation, Hunter eventually puts the thumbtack in her mouth, only to have her tongue poked by its sharp point. She tries to resist the urge to swallow it, but eventually succumbs to the impulse and ingests the object, feeling an inexplicable sense of relief. That same evening, Richie returns home with a few friends in tow. Hunter intends to greet them by the pool, but the pain caused by the thumbtack suddenly intensifies, prompting her to rush to the bathroom. Once inside, she excretes the thumbtack, but the ensuing struggle leaves a significant amount of blood on the toilet seat. Fortunately, before Richie can discover the evidence, Hunter quickly cleans up the mess and exits the bathroom. At the pool, one of Richie's friends congratulates Hunter on her pregnancy. However, things take an unsettling turn when he requests a hug, claiming that he feels lonely. Although Hunter is reluctant, she eventually agrees to the embrace. Strangely, it becomes apparent that she needed the comfort more than he did. As time passes, Hunter becomes increasingly drawn to consuming non-edible items that she finds scattered around her home. Her obsession expands to include metal figurines, batteries, book pages, safety pins, and various other objects. It appears as if the thrill of eating these items is incredibly exhilarating for her, and she is unable to resist the temptation to do so. One day, during a routine ultrasound appointment, the sonogram technician detects an abnormality in Hunter's abdomen. Alarmed by the discovery, the medical staff quickly rushes her in for emergency surgery. During the procedure, the surgeon uncovers a shocking array of inedible objects that had become lodged in her intestine. After a thorough examination, the doctor diagnoses Hunter with pica, a psychological disorder that compels individuals to consume non-food items. Upon returning home, Richie is understandably angry and confused, struggling to comprehend what could possibly be wrong with his wife. When he confronts her, Hunter insists that she does not understand what is happening to her and claims she had never even heard of pica before. Concerned for her well-being, Richie and his parents decide to arrange for Hunter to see a psychiatrist in the city. Initially, they insist on being present during her therapy sessions, but the psychiatrist, Alice, eventually requests to speak with Hunter alone. During their private conversation, Alice gently inquires how it makes Hunter feel to swallow these objects. In response, Hunter confesses that she enjoys the sensation of the different textures in her mouth, finding it strangely comforting. Meanwhile, Richie, still anxious about his wife's behavior, hires a Syrian man named Louis to keep a closer eye on Hunter while he is at work. Unfortunately, this only serves to heighten Hunter's frustration. Over the following days, Hunter grows increasingly irritated by Louis' intrusive presence. He constantly monitors her movements and even criticizes her mental health struggles. At one point, he insinuates that if Hunter had experienced the hardships he faced in Syria, she would not have such problems. His scrutiny escalates to the point where he begins inspecting her before allowing her to use the bathroom. Despite Louis' vigilance, Hunter remains obsessed with consuming non-food items and continues to find ways to satisfy her compulsion in secret. The scene shifts to Richie's extravagant birthday celebration at their opulent mansion. During the party, Hunter overhears conversations that reveal everyone in attendance is aware of her swallowing problem. Devastated, she confronts Richie, demanding to know why he exposed her private struggle. Richie, however, dismisses her concerns, claiming that it is his special day and he does not want her to ruin it. This callous response leaves Hunter feeling even more isolated and humiliated. Later that night, as the couple is being intimate, Hunter abruptly stops and demands that Richie apologize before they continue. Her request shocks him, but it highlights the growing chasm between them. In her next therapy session, Hunter shares a deeply personal and traumatic revelation. She confesses that she was not raised by her biological father and has never met him. In a heartbreaking disclosure, she reveals that her conception was the result of her mother being sexually assaulted by a stranger. This painful truth casts a new light on Hunter's psychological struggles, suggesting that her compulsive behavior may be rooted in unresolved trauma from her past. With a clear mind and a renewed sense of purpose, Hunter sets out to rebuild her life on her terms, leaving behind the pain and trauma she has endured. Empowered by her choices, she is determined to embrace the future with courage and resilience. And as for her next step? Well, perhaps she'll head to Toys R Us and treat herself to a few Beyblades, because why not?